Colbyjack.net is proud to present From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. The people of the fire, the Blesa, led by their queens, have ruled the island of Alfeyju and oppressed the Driva, the people of the ice, for more than 16 generations. With the Drivian King in hiding and little hope on the horizon, the Driva looked to one person to save them from the vile Blesa, the Diviana. According to legend, the divinely gifted Diviana will one day overthrow the Blesa and restore the Drivian King to his rightful throne. But with the search having lasted for more than 400 years, will the Diviana ever come to light? Willow is the slave of the Raskpil family. But at the age of 4, 20 years have passed since her life irrevocably changed. Her existence is no worse than any other slave, but within, Willow wonders if there isn't something more she should be doing with her life other than serving the ungrateful. Ordered to travel with her master's family to Sondertoft, so her master's adult children can take part in an ancient rite of passage, Willow is shocked when she learns that she too must participate. Will she fail, as all before her have? Will she rise to the challenge and become stronger after passing through the flames? From the Flames, Episode 13, Chapter 6, Stowaway. As night approached 2 days later, Willow reflected on how drastically her life had changed from just a few days ago. During her time on the Faruf, nobody had ordered her to do anything. She hadn't had to clean up the crew's messes, get them or make them food, or move items to different locations. No one aboard had put her down, called her names, or treated her as if she were a disgrace to them, unworthy of respect and kindness. Her treatment by Hawk and the rest of the crew was the exact opposite of what she had received from her former master's family. Whenever Willow offered to help, Hawk kindly but firmly declined. Instead of her serving them, they would present her with food, making sure she had enough to fill her belly. Instead of always sleeping on the floor or on a lumpy old mattress that the twins had used and abused, she slept in the captain's quarters on a soft bed made for a queen. They treated her with the respect and kindness she had never received before, and it always brought a lump to her throat. Even though she hadn't known her for more than a few days, they treated her better than her slave family had during the 20 years she had been with them. Their treatment of her was like balm on the wound in her heart, a wound she had never acknowledged was there until it started to heal. Their actions made her realize that while her life hadn't been miserable, it had been far from happy. She was now glad to be free of the relentless degradation she had received day in and day out, glad to be free of the unending work, free of the unfair punishments. Willow shivered a little from the cold breeze. They had traveled farther north than she had ever been before. Val, her ever-present companion, said, "We will arrive soon." "How could you possibly know that when you've never been to Mistress Astrid's home before?" Willow asked. "If it is the place I believe it is, then that is where I was created. I can also feel the magic protecting it from would-be harmers. Can't you feel the magic?" Val asked. Looking within herself, Willow didn't say anything for a few minutes. Yes, she did feel something different, but she didn't know if it was from sensing magic or something else. "I'm not sure what I feel," Willow admitted. "Don't worry, child. You'll learn what magic feels like and how to sense it, even at a distance. But that is neither here nor there. Go, put on your cloak before you freeze to death. We don't want to deliver a corpse to Astrid, do we?" "What cloak? I don't own a cloak," Willow said, taken aback by the sudden change in topic. "Yes, you do, Willow," Hawk said from behind her. Turning around to look at him, she saw a lilac purple and gold embroidered cloak in his arms. It matched the color of her dress exactly, and looked to be made out of the same material. Handing it to her, Hawk watched as she stroked the fabric. The fabric had the same softness as her own dress, Looking inside, she saw differences, however. The inside of the cloak was a dark brown, a color reserved for plainer cloaks. The embroidery also didn't show up on the inside, unlike her dress. Willow was puzzled about these differences and couldn't come up with a reason for them. "Where did you get it?" Willow asked as she put it on. It was as warm as she believed it would be. It would keep the chill from her bones. Mistress Astrid created it and gave it to me before I left. She told me she had a dream that the Diviana would need a cloak to take the chill from her body. At the time, I had no idea that it would match your clothes so well. I should have given it to you earlier. However, it wasn't until I was searching for my own cloak that I came across it. Forgive me for my forgetfulness." "Don't worry about forgetting," Willow said. "You and the crew have done more for me in the last few days than anyone else has done for me in all my years upon the earth." Turning back to watch the shoreline pass, she said, "Val tells me we're almost at Henfred. Is that true?" "Yes," Hawk answered, coming alongside of her. "If you look up ahead, you'll see a mist. That mist is the boundary line for Henfred. It keeps everyone except those loyal to you out. Once we cross the boundary, it will only take a little while to dock and get to Mistress Astrid's home." "Do the others live there as well?" Willow asked. "No," he said. "Only Mistress Astrid, myself, and now you live there. The others have homes in a little village on the other side of the east boundary. They only come when we need their help, so once we land, they will go home to their families." "No one else lives with Mistress Astrid except you? What about servants or slaves?" Willow asked. "She has none except me," Hawk said. "Look, we are passing through the mist. I must go help the others get ready to dock. If you stay here, you'll be able to see your new home in a few minutes. If I know Mistress Astrid, she will have it lit up so you will be unable to miss it." Hawk walked back to the others, who were waiting for orders. Willow turned her attention to the darkening world and the mist. The Farulf glided easily into the dark and thick mist. The mist swiftly engulfed the ship, making it impossible to see a hand before her eyes, let alone the other side. As soon as the ship was swallowed up, the wind picked up. It was strong enough that Willow had to tighten her grip on the railing, or else she would have been blown to her feet. She couldn't tell which direction it was coming from, however. It was almost as if it were surrounding the ship, trying to direct the ship somewhere. Where to, she wasn't sure, for the mist masked any landmarks which would have helped with the navigation of the ship. From the corner of her eye, she saw Hawk struggling with the helm, turning the wheel one way and then the other. There appeared to be no rhyme or reason to his corrections. It was almost as if he were steering the ship by instinct. The ship shuddered a few times as it battled through the mist and wind, and there were times when Willow thought all was lost. But right at those moments, Hawk would steer them out of the unknown danger and back onto the course only he was able to find. More long minutes passed in the sightless depths of mist. Then Willow thought it was thinning. Soon, she could see the length of the ship clearly. Then she could see the water, black as night, gliding past the ship. Finally, the mist cleared completely, and the wind ceased as suddenly as it had started. And she could clearly see the twinkling stars above. The stars were brighter here than they'd been before the Falruf's entrance into the protective mist. They were larger, too, if Willow wasn't mistaken. Where before they'd only been tiny pinpricks in the sky, now they were the size of tiny buttons. The different colored stars, in different shades of blue, red, green, and yellow, flickered for a few heartbeats before they started streaking across the sky. Their descent started with first one star and then another and another, until the entire sky was covered with the falling stars. The spectacle reminded Willow of a fireworks show she'd once witnessed. She'd been 6 when the new docks in Christhaller had been unveiled. To celebrate the occasion, the town elders had brought in a fireworks expert to put on a show. Willow felt the same awe and wonder now as she witnessed the sky's spectacle. But the stars in their welcome were unable to hold her attention for more than a few breaths, for the vision on land was even more wondrous than the show the sky was putting on for her. Rising out of the forest like an oasis out of a desert was a house. A mansion, really, perched upon a small rise which elevated the home so all who approached, be it by land or by sea, would know that this was the dwelling of someone special, someone deserving of respect and admiration, someone of power. Dwarfing the trees that surrounded it, the mansion was more impressive than anything Willow had ever seen before. It appeared to defy the gods with its size, for who but the gods would be able to create such a home? No mere mortal could have done such a flawless job. This work is released under Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Do what you want with it. Remix it, re-record it, transcribe it, share it. Just don't sell it or change the terms of the license. Your creation must be released under an Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.